Hey guys, Stewart from Chaos Cards here. I got quite a few, well not loads, but a few messages on YouTube asking me about Buddyfight. I really love the game. I think a lot of you know that from the box opening I did, where I explained how much I love the artwork and the way the game works. So I decided to do this little tutorial video. You know, even if a few people watch this and get into the game, I'll be happy. So this isn't the definitive guide to the game by any stretch of the imagination. It is just literally to show new players what these cards are and roughly what these cards do. So the first thing I'm going to get into is the actual cards themselves. This is the playmat, but we'll get into that in a moment. First of all, you have to understand that in this game there is no archetypes, there is no how do you say, colors like in Magic. There is subtypes, like different types of dragons and stuff like that, but in general all of the cards fall into a category of a world. They are all from different worlds, they play differently, and their cards are entirely different depending on the world that they come from. I mean visually different. And usually there's some stuff that they can do that other worlds can't do, or stuff that they do particularly well. So what I'm going to do, I am just going to show you one card from each world to show you the differences. So here's my little stack of cards. First I will show you the back of the cards just because I can. As you can see, that black and red symbol there with the Buddyfight, because of the light you can see it's very shiny, it's very smooth, and also I don't know if this is going to pick up very well, but the cards are actually textured. All this white part here is kind of like a textured thing. It's if I run my nail on it, you can kind of hear that. It's kind of rough. So the cards are very thick. They're really good quality cards. So the best cards I've ever used in any game, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, these are the best cards I've ever used. So moving on. So this is a card from the Dragon World. If I let my camera focus on that, you can see in the bottom corner there that it says Dragon World. This is the code. Actually, I'll tell you what, we'll take the others from behind it so it doesn't get in the way. You can see the code at the bottom there, which tells you what set it's from. And I'm not going to go into all the details just yet on what all the numbers on the card mean. I'm just showing you the different worlds. So Dragon World has this sort of dragon head up here. It has fire that comes down the sides. You can actually see it's sort of sparks and things. Looks really cool. Comes down the bottom and goes across there like that fire, which you can see. And the name of the card goes there. Also the font, like the font, the way these numbers here are printed is different for each world as well, which is kind of cool. So that's how Dragon World looks. Let's move on. This is Danger World, and you can see there, Danger World, it's from a trial deck, and as you can see there was a dragon head up here. Now we have this kind of sort of futuristic kind of looking thing, a very dangerous spiky kind of circle with the number in it. As you can see, you've got this black and yellow stripe that goes all the way down. The font between these two is not overly different. It's similar, but I think it's actually, looking at the font of the numbers, I think the font on these two may be the same, but I've got one next to me right now that I can see is different. So, but if you'll remember, where the numbers are, they're on this kind of bolt here. There's a bolt with like a metal line. If you look here, you can see that the way the numbers are printed are actually, oh no, you can see they are actually different. The actual font on these is pretty much the same, but you can see that there's a big bolt in the way and there's no room for that there. They just have that kind of sort of, let my camera focus, that kind of fire spark there. So that's the difference there. Coming down here, you can see that there is barbed wire running across the card, the name at the bottom again, and yeah, it looks fantastic. Again, the artwork. So that's Danger World. Moving on to Magic World. A lot of people love Magic World. Again, sorry about the light, I'm just trying to do this as best I can. As you can see, it's replaced by this sort of star symbol, all this kind of blue, turquoise kind of stuff, and you can see there that it's got that sort of magic circle spell type thing, and the font is definitely different on this one, as you can see. Coming down here to the bottom, you can see more of this sort of magic circle stuff. He is from Magic World, as you can see, and that's how Magic World cards look, and this is the same for every world in the game, so that's pretty cool. So moving on, hopefully this video won't be too long, but I'll try and get through it as quick as possible. Let my camera focus. This is Katana World. As you can see, their numbers are printed in this sort of oval shape. They also have a star, but it is different. As you can see, it is a different kind of star. They have this kind of bamboo kind of thing down here with a katana and some kunai down there, and a ninja throwing star with all this sort of, you know how they write the Japanese symbols with the paint and things like that, kind of underlines it. And Katana World there. Sorry about the focus on the camera, it should focus on that, but for some reason it isn't. There we go. So yeah, there you go, that's a Katana World. Moving on to my favourite world, which is Ancient World. You can see again up here, cool sort of dragon motif running around it, sort of like stone going down the side with all cracks in it, kind of like dragon wings there where the numbers are, with the 3 in the I don't know what you call that, sort of sunburst effect type thing. Moving down here, it's like a sort of plaque, you know, like an engraved sort of title with dragon claws at the sides. Really loved it. Oh, and I've dropped it. Really love this one. You can see that it's an Ancient World card. Again, the artwork is brilliant. If anyone's ever played Dark Souls before, that dragon looks really similar to Seath. I don't know why, it just reminds me of him. But yep, that's that. And then we have generic cards. Generic cards can be used in pretty much any deck. You can see it says generic there. They literally just have that, and then Buddyfight all down the side and all around there. However, recently they changed the design of generic to this. Generic now have this kind of gear work stuff, as you can see going on down there. I don't know whether they'll keep changing these. You can see the differences there. I don't know whether they'll keep changing these, but I think honestly this one is better than this. This is a bit too plain for my liking. I don't mind it, but this is definitely better. So that is the differences in how the cards look. Now there are 4 types of cards, 5 if you count the flag, but I'll just show you them now. We have, these are all from Dragon World, as you can see, these are all Dragon World cards. The first type that we're going to talk about is the monsters, and they are actually called monsters. So, let my camera focus. We'll just quickly go through what's on the card, and this will be the same for every world, essentially. So, at the top where it says 1 monster, the 1 is the size of the creature, how big it is on the board, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. The red number is the power, and the blue number is the toughness or the defense, however you want to say it, attack and defense essentially. And the number in the middle is how much damage it does if it attacks directly, which is what you need to do to win the game. Each player has 10 life, so you need to, 1 damage isn't very good, but this card definitely has its place. Like almost all the cards in here are relatively useful. It allows you to build decks at a budget, it allows you to build decks at a high budget, you know, it's really cool. So anyway, that's what those numbers are. This box down here is for the effect. Sometimes there is no effect, there's just flavor text. Here you've got the type that he is. Sorry. He is, if my camera would focus on it, he is an armor dragon / blue dragon, and he is from Dragon World. This is the code for the set it belongs to. This is the rarity there, that C means common, and this is the name of the card, which is Dirge Drill Dragon. He has an effect which is Penetrate. We won't go into all these different keywords today because I'm already at 10 minutes and it will take a long time. If you enjoy the video though and you want more of this kind of stuff, explaining buddy fight cards to you, I can do that. If you want a more in-depth chat about the rules and stuff, fine, let me know in the comment section and I will do that. So that's the creature. Just before I move on, I will explain that on the map, if my camera lets me see, yep, there is 3 monster zones. You have monster center, monster left, and monster right. These are pretty much the only places that you play any monsters. The size governs what you can have on your field at any one time. You're only allowed to have up to size 3 on your field, meaning you could have a 1 because he is a 1, and then you could have another 1 and another 1 to equal 3. So you could have 3 weak monsters. If this guy had a number 3 and you just placed him, he's the only one that would be allowed on the board unless you had a size 0. Size 0 cards do exist, but they're very rare. There isn't many places that use them. I think Danger World has one. So you could do that, or you could have a size 2 here and a size 1 there, for example, or you could have 3 size 0s, you know, as long as it doesn't equal more than 3. So that's what the size is all about, and that keeps you from just spamming the field with your best monsters, because it would be very unfair if you could do that. So that's a creature. That's basically how the creatures work. And well, it's not really how they work, it's what they are. So moving on, this, as you can see up the top, does not have a number because it is a spell. Basically the same idea as Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, when you use an instant or a sorcery or a spell or a continuous spell, whatever. Well, it's not a continuous spell, but you know what I'm saying. It's just a spell. You play it, you do what it says, and then you get rid of it. So it says spell differently, and obviously because it's got this bigger text, the fire comes further up the card. See, you can see there the difference in a spell. The spell has a smaller picture, essentially. It tells you basically what kind of stuff it's for, like what kind of card it is, a dragon. Just because it says dragon doesn't mean it has to be used on a dragon. It will tell you in the effect what it can be used on. This is just to show you sort of what it's from, you know. And there is a little bit of flavor text there, which is there are no front lines for an armor dragon, which is kind of cool. From Dragon World, code, rarity, and the name Drago Speed. So as you can see, cast cost, pay 2 gauge, choose one of your size 2 or less armor dragon on the field, and for this turn it can attack your opponent even if your opponent has a monster in the center. If you're new to this, that probably doesn't mean much to you right now, but it will eventually. So that's a spell. Then we have items. Items are probably one of my favorite types in this game, actually. You can see it says item, where in the other it said monster and a number, and then you had spell. Now we have item. Items do not have defense because they cannot be attacked, but they can do some attacking. So you know, 5,000 power, 3 damage. It's pretty powerful, this sword. Looks basically like a monster card, if I get one now. Basically the same idea, except it doesn't have defense because it can't be attacked. So there you go. The cost, the equip cost to equip it to yourself is discard 1 card from your hand and pay 1 gauge. Again, if you're new, that's probably not going to mean much to you, but that's how you equip it. But you have to think of it as this sword is going in your hand. So you're the 4th monster, if you like, because you've got 1, 2, 3, and then I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah, flag and item. So it would go there. So it's like the 4th monster, if you like. Just a quick word. It cannot attack if you have a monster here. If you have a monster in this space, the weapon behind it cannot attack, because you have to imagine like you're holding this sword, so you'd just be running through your own monster, so you know it's silly. So anyway, that is an item. They come in various shapes, sizes, powers. Some of them do sort of burn damage, some of them are really powerful frontline attackers like this one. There's all different types of weapons, and you can use whichever ones suit you. You don't usually get many in a deck unless it's heavily focused on it, and I haven't seen that yet. So, and now moving on to the impact card. You've probably noticed it is sideways. So turn it this way. You can see in the corner, if my camera decides to focus, it is an impact card. You have the artwork, which is a lot bigger on this type of card. Reckless Anger. Yeah. So, sorry. Dragon World. Yeah, a bit of flavor text there. These cards are essentially like finishing moves. You can only use these at the end of your turn. And as you can see here, the cast cost is to pay 4 gauge. If you've been doing your turn and paying gauge to do stuff, the likelihood is at the end of your turn you're not going to have much left. So it sort of limits to how you can do this, because basically you can't do anything on your turn if you want to do these. Some decks can, obviously, but generally if you do loads of stuff on your turn, you're not going to be able to use it. So these are like finishing moves. You may only cast this card if your opponent has 4 or less life if you do not have a monster in your center. The center is this thing here. Wait for it to focus. This little picture here with an arrow, that means stand one of your weapons. In this game, if your weapon is this way and you turn it sideways to attack, to show that it's attacked, you essentially tap the card like magic. But what this card here lets you do is put the weapon back up so it's ready to attack again, and for this turn give it extra 2 damage that it can do, critical, and then attack with it, and the attack cannot be nullified, which is negated. So it can't be negated, and yeah, that means that this sword would go up to 5 damage. And you can only cast this if they have 4 or less life, and it can't be nullified. You can't stop the attack, so that would kill them essentially. That would win the game. It's like a finishing card. There's many different versions of these that you can use. People sometimes find that they're too slow, but you should really run them in your deck, as far as I can tell. So that's the 4 main types of cards. Now we have another one. We have the flag card. The flag is what it goes here at the start of the game, and when you start the game, just like any other, you put your deck in the deck area over here. The drop zone is like the graveyard, just so you know. You put the deck face down, as you always do, and you also put your flag face down at the start of the game, and then both players at the same time reveal their flag. The flag is what shows your opponent and you what you are allowed to use and what world you are representing. So you can only have 1 flag in your deck, and it's technically not in your deck. It doesn't count towards your deck limit. So this is the Dragon World flag, and as you can see there, it says you may use Dragon World and generic cards. So that means you can't have a Dragon World deck with Ancient World cards in it. It's to stop ridiculous combos like that would break the game. So you could say you're stuck using one world, but there's so much variety in each world, and representing one world I think is really cool. I think it's really fun to do it that way, personally. So yeah, I'll just quickly go through the flags. They all say exactly the same thing, and also you can see at the top corner it says flag. They all do exactly the same thing for their world, so they all say you may use such and such world and generic cards. So I'll just show you how they look. So that's Dragon. This is the Danger World flag, as you can see. This is the Magic World flag, which is pretty cool, all that magician stuff. This is the Katana World flag, again pretty cool. And this is the Ancient World flag that I use currently. So there isn't any other worlds out at the moment, but there is not the camera, but there is a few new worlds coming soon. I think we have Dungeon World, we have Hero. Is it Hero World or is it Legend World, or is it both? It might be both. I can't remember at the moment, but yeah, there's a lot of new ones coming. These are the worlds that you can currently choose from. So when you're deck building, pick which one you think looks best. That's the best way to start. I started with Dragon World because I like dragons. and then I moved to Ancient World because Ancient World is basically ancient dragons. So this is what I've done. Lots of people go for magic, but you know, it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. So now we're already at 20 minutes, so I'm going to explain to you quickly the rarities of the cards, essentially. I'm going to explain to you how the rarities work, and I'll probably give you a quick rundown on the map, and then I'll have to cut the video because it is in HD. It takes a long time to upload, so I'm going to make a part 2 if that's okay with everybody, and possibly a part 3 if people want it. So let's quickly go through the rarities. Again, this is the same sword. It's a common. It has literally no foil, nothing. There's no foil. It's just a straight printed card. Still looks awesome, by the way, but there's no foiling at all. So, moving on to a rare, if I can. There we go. This is a rare, and also pretty much the main character besides this guy. Gal Mikado is the main character from the anime, and this guy is his buddy, so it's kind of like the main character. This is Drum Bunker Dragon, if my phone decides that it wants to cooperate. Basically, this is a rare. You can see down here next to the set name, you can see a little R just there. What a rare is, there's always a rare in a pack, same as most other games, and what it is, you have gold foiling on the name. It looks a bit dark here, but in person it is like a brilliant gold. It looks like kind of like that. You see how that's really shiny? That's how it looks in person, so ignore the way it looks kind of dark, because it isn't that dark. And then obviously the numbers are in foil as well, and where it says monster and 2 up here is in gold as well, and it is kind of embossed, which is kind of, it's printed, but is it raised? I don't know, kind of. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh where it's like stamped on, it's kind of just on the foil. But some people said it could be hard to know which is attack and defense. Well, you just have to remember that attack is always here. The lowest one down is always the attack one, so that's obviously the defense one, you know. So no worries about that. That's how a rare looks, which is really nice in person. The camera isn't really doing it justice, I have to say, but once you get your hands on these, you'll see. Okay, moving on to a double R. This is a double R, if my camera again wants to focus. There we go. If you look down there, yeah, there's 2 R's there. This is a double R. Basically, a double R is a foil picture. Just straight foil, nothing special. I don't think, yeah, all this outside bit isn't foil, and all this down here isn't foil. It's just the picture. The same goes for the monsters. It's just a bigger bit of foil, essentially. So that's how that looks. And then we move on to triple R. Triple R is a lot more impressive. As you can see down there, triple R. And it's got a massively long name as well, but it's got this kind of broken glass effect, if you can see that. Yeah, kind of broken glass effect, and it's all over the card. It's not just the picture, it's all over it, and it's very nice to look at. There is 2 rarities that I don't actually own. There's SP, which is special. If you've played Vanguard, you'll know what an SP is. If not, it's kind of just like a different foil pattern of a card, and they are incredibly hard to come by. Usually like 2 in a case, and that's about 24 boxes. They're hard to get hold of. There's also a I don't like the name of this, honestly, but it's the Buddy Rare. I don't like the name of it. I don't even like the name of the game. They really should have thought about the name a bit more, because it's putting people off. But sorry, I digress. Yeah, the Buddy Rares are really embossed. They're like full gold ultimate rare from Yu-Gi-Oh, like all gold, all embossed, all pretty and nice and expensive. But I haven't got one, so I can't show you it. If I did, I would show you. So that's a basic rundown of the rarities. There is also uncommons in the game, but uncommons are essentially the same as commons. Like, there's no difference in the foiling or anything. They're basically the same, except uncommons are obviously slightly more uncommon. Believe it or not, I know. Sorry. So let's just take a quick look at the map. You have the flag and item area. When your flag is here and you want to equip an item, you essentially just put the item on top of the flag. That's how you do it. You just equip it to the flag. That's it. You have the monster for the center, the monster for the right, the monster for the left. Moving this over slightly, you've got the deck, you've got the drop zone, which is deck and graveyard. You have the turn process down here, and then you have the gauge in the top left corner. The gauge will fill up during the course of the game. You can fill it with 1 card a turn, or if other cards allow you to do it, you can fill it with more cards a turn. And you use cards from here to pay costs. When it says pay to gauge, it means pay 2 cards from here. And when you pay them, you take them from here and you put them in there. That's it. That's all that does. Now you might be wondering why there is a buddy space here. The buddy system is it's kind of weird, really, but it does work, I guess. What the buddy system is you pick sort of like your favorite card that you would want to use in your deck. Sometimes people pick it because they like the card, or sometimes people pick it for a strategic reason. Whatever reason you pick it for, it doesn't count. The card will go here at the start of the game, so when you put your flag down, you want to put your buddy face down as well, and then you reveal them both, same as your opponent. And the buddy does not count towards your deck limit, and neither does your flag, so these 2 cards are always separate. And what it is, say you play in the game, you've got your cards in your hand and your buddy is sitting down here. If you have the same card in your hand that's down here, so for example, let's say, have I got anything I can show you with? I don't have anything that's the same, but let's just pretend. let's play pretend. So this is my buddy down here, and let's pretend this is the exact same card as this, but just in my hand. So I've got my hand of cards here. This is my hand of cards. And what you do, if you want to summon this guy, the only real reason to doing it I can see is that you get life from it. What you do, let's say this card is the exact same card as this. They are both Drum Bunker Dragon. Okay, they are both this card. So what you do, you say, okay, I'm going to buddy call, because call is summon in this, C-A-L-L. Call is basically what summon means. Is what summon means in other games. So a call is a summon is a call. They're the same thing. So what you would do, you'd say, okay, I'm buddy calling. So you pick him up from here and you put him wherever you want him. Let's say we put him in the middle, and then you put the exact same card from your hand sideways in this area to show that you've buddy called. And when you do that, you gain 1 life, and you can only do that once in a game. That's all it is. It's quite simple. That's a buddy call. So it's pretty simple. So that's pretty much the map. There's not really much else to explain. I can't really go into the details of how the game works and the deck building and the combos and all that sort of stuff yet, because this video is already at about 30 minutes and it's going to take forever to render and upload. So I'll get this video done and I'll put it out, and I will film the next part of it as soon as I can. So thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you get into the game, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell me in the comments that this is if I could speak, that this is what you want to see. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all very soon.